Hi, guys. Bob here for TNL Network Productions, and welcome to the Monday show, now known as North Pole Happy Hour. And I want to introduce these two guys I got with me today. Of course, we're going to start off with Phineas T. Elf. Say
Good
hello,
afternoon,
Penny.
everybody. How are you today?
Yeah, and then we have this next gentleman. He's got a couple of different nicknames. Of course, I like to call him Mr. Showtime, but we could also call him Mr. W.
Nobody knows that last name. They really don't.
I would throw that one and that one in there, but everybody knows him by Randall Santa Checker Lee, the
Good
man
to
who
see
likes to say
everybody.
free.
Good to see everybody. Welcome to a Monday. Back to Monday already. Can't believe it. These weeks went by so fast.
Week 3 already. That's what I was saying when I sent you guys the notes for today. Golly, we're already in the third week already.
Yeah,
Goodness, it
getting
just gets by so fast. You know what doesn't get by too fast, though? That last cold blast of the year. Did you guys happen to see Santa Mac, Jeff McMullen's picture earlier?
yeah,
He's
yeah,
buried.
yeah,
Poor guy
yeah.
buried. I understand that all you guys up in the Northeast got a little taste of snow and winter the last couple of weeks. Of course, if you're like us here this time of year, it'll warm up for a couple of days, turn cold for a couple of days, and just can't make up its mind. Mother Nature is fickle.
Yeah, it's like a roller coaster up here in Michigan. What 3 feet up in northern Michigan? It was funny that picture of Michael Howe. He had a picture of himself in a T-shirt on the grill, and then 2 days later, he's shoveling how many feet of snow. It's just that's the way it is here. It's like a roller coaster. It's crazy, and we're lucky down in the metro area. We Detroit area. We don't. It's windy. It went from 71 yesterday down to it's 19 out there now and
Yes.
50 mile an hour winds. So it's really cold, but we didn't get the snow, thank goodness.
Well, I know Phineas has got some weather going on where he's at for sure. It's always different there.
Yeah, well, it's we're about a day or so after Randall here, and so it was 68 degrees this morning. It is now 34 degrees right now with 80-mile-an-hour winds. So we're just battening down the hatches here. So
Yeah, we had high winds yesterday too, all day long, even into sunset last night and beyond. But we got a greenhouse this last year, small greenhouse, just to put some of our tropical plants in to see if we could, overwinter with them. And it's done a great job. But one of the panels came loose yesterday during that high gust of wind we had, and so I caught myself out there last night around 40 degrees in my short pants and t-shirt trying to fit that panel back in. And we happen to have a row of that frog tape. That is the green tape that you use to paint with, and it sticks pretty good, but it doesn't leave an adhesive behind when you tear it off. So I went out there and put that around the frame over onto the polycarbonate panel, and it seems to have held up overnight. So I'm happy with that. Didn't lose any plants.
Good.
So, but yeah, we were down mid 30s here in the Metroplex and outlying areas. Got down into upper 20s, lower 30s this morning, and we were like you guys. We were in the 80s just before it hit. So pretty
Mother
crazy.
Nature, you
Hey,
never know. You can't argue with her. She's going to do what she wants to do at Mother Nature.
at
yep,
this time of year, we're what we always call that transitional period. We always get that last. Seem like we always get that last cold snap right around Easter time. So
Yeah.
maybe this is our last, and we'll transition into spring, and all will be well. In a couple of months, we'll be griping about how hot it is here. Hey,
Please, please.
we complain a lot here in Texas. All right, man. I tell you what, let's go ahead and slide into Santa B's segment today, hot cup of cocoa segment, and we'll be right back on the other side of this.
Ho, 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 and happy day, my friends. Santa B here with you again today. And today I want to talk about something I like to refer to as our wellness toolbox. We've all had those times when we just wish we had the right tool to do the job. Well, this is kind of the same idea, but these are the tools that we use to help us feel better when we're not feeling great. And these can be all kinds of things, but one of the things that I really encourage you to consider is recognizing that these are the things you say help you be better when you're not feeling great. And so take these things and write them down. Kind of put them in a place where you know you've got them. So if things start going wrong, you can get a hold of it, and you don't always have to rely on what goes on between our ears. And one of the things that I always like to encourage people to do is think about, when things start to go bad, the first lights that go out for me are the ones that shine on all the good things I can do. So making sure I have a list can be a real, true help. And when I need to help myself get back up. And the cool thing about this is these are things that can be not just in your Christmas portrayal, but it can be for everyday life. It can be something as simple as getting up and going for a walk, getting up and getting some sunshine in your face, spending some time with family and friends, taking some time to exercise, making sure we're eating right, taking our medicines. Not always fun stuff, but it can be fun stuff. Going for a nice drive, having a playlist set up that just helps put you in a better mood when you're not in a great mood. These are all really important and simple things that we can do to help ensure we're always at our best. So folks, I encourage you, create a wellness toolbox and have as many tools in it as possible. I've not ever had a time when I've looked around and thought I've got too many tools to help me be better. Be blessed, be well. I love you all. Bye-bye.
See what, he stepped his game up this year. Those segments are just getting better and better, aren't they?
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, it is so true. You've got to have something to roll back onto, because we know something's going to happen almost every day in life. And if you got that toolkit that's going to help you keep on going through things, it's necessity. It's to cope with, if it's the bills, if it's the spouse, if it's the kids, if it's whatever, the work, whatever it is. There's always something going on, the house, whatever, and you got something to fall back onto that can help you through those times. It's a wonderful thing.
Yes, indeed, because no matter what happens, life is going to intervene somehow and make things interesting. So be prepared. Yep.
Interesting is a polite word there, Phineas, for a grouchy elf. Interesting is a very polite word.
I'm trying my best. I don't want producer Angela to have to hit that button.
Well, I know what it is. He put that playlist in that Santa B was talking about, and he's got some good tunes on there, and it's made him feel a little bit better today.
A little bit better.
Yeah. I did the same thing yesterday. I caught myself, kind of wanting to listen to some music. So while sitting here working, I happened to hit a playlist that I put together a couple of years ago, and it definitely lifted my spirits. So
yeah, I got a fun playlist from Randy Neely down at North Pole Cornerstones. He gave me man. I tell you, I've only been able to play it on the computer because it's just a plug in for that. But man, I tell you, I plugged it in the other day. Thumbs up. It's great. Happy birthday to Debbie Neely. Here's her birthday today too. Happy birthday, Debbie.
He gave each one of us one of those, and it's a good mix of music. Which I know Phineas, he loves everything from classical all the way to hard rock. So heavy metal.
Definitely. Variety of music for a wide variety of moods. So,
and that's what's great about music is if you really mellow, there's music to help you that way. If you want to be crazy, there's music that way.
Absolutely.
So that's what's great about it. You can't limit yourself to one exact thing. There's a almost a genre for every thing that's going on in your life to help out, get out of your head, whatever it is. It's make you smile, everything else in between, make you cry, but there's a lot out there. It's great.
Now the old country will make you cry. It makes you want to, tears in our beer, as the song goes. Some of that old country will definitely put you in that funk, and that's when it's time to reach over and jump ahead to something more lively and something with more bounce to it that will pick you up. So
it is out there,
gentlemen. Let's see. First up on our menu today is the Elf Appetizer. So let's roll into that real quick. We'll be right back with Phineas on the other side.
Well, now, that's not just a burger. That's a statement. Welcome to the Elf Appetizer, where we get straight to the meat of the hot topics. Stop drooling, fellas. We're just getting started. We stack it high. Truth, humor, a little heat, and we don't nibble around the edges. So pull up a chair, loosen that belt, and let's take a real bite out of this thing. Let's carve into it.
Manifest.
Oh, I'm sorry. You can't help but smile when you see that every time. It's just
I tell you what gets me, Randall, is the bugged out eyeballs. I know there is I don't know if they call it a disease or if it's just something that folks are gifted and can have, but they can actually pop their eyeballs out. Have you ever seen those
yeah,
videos?
yeah. People can pop their
Kind
eyes
of what
out.
it reminds me of some boing, oing, 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 oing. Hey, it's like this right here.
There you go. That's like the eyeball popping out.
That's
And
what it reminds me of right there.
Yeah.
there it is.
Eyeball popping for sure. All right, Phineas. Well, I'll tell you what, we got a good one today, and so let's everybody get ready to chime in the chat on this one.
Okay. Is it unethical for Santas, Mrs. Clauses, or elves to accept tips when they are working for a venue where they are placed by a placement agency, photo company, or corporate setting?
Wow.
So,
It's,
is it unethical to accept tips?
I don't think it's unethical at all. It depends upon how you take it. If they do it, hopefully they do it in an envelope or a Christmas card or something like that. Here, here's a tip. I know years I doing house visits definitely give you tips more than the other ones do, but I don't think it's unethical. Maybe prodding for it is. That's there's a different way of yeah, there you go, put your hat out, or Santa accepts tips or whatever. But there's been years also they just give gifts and they just want to, they'll give you cookies, or I've gotten snow globes and other little gifts that are cute little things that they want to give Santa. I think it's a nice thing as long as then you take it very graciously, but never unethical, only if you prod it to get that money. When you're a magician, you got certain tricks that you can use that you can edge the money in. Santa shouldn't. Is my opinion.
Yeah, it's
I
almost unethical to refuse to take a tip. I mean, you can act like you're surprised and say, "No, no, no, you don't have to do this," or in a kind way. But I think it would offend folks more so if you didn't take it than if you took it because that's a gift they're wanting to give from the heart.
Honestly, I think it depends on what the agreement is with the person who you are contracted with, because it could be create difficulty for them as the contractor. But again, if someone offers freely a tip or slides Santa a thank you card, as I typically call it, or a holiday card, there's really not much you can do. And honestly, we will accept it greatly. It tells us that the client or person visiting us is happy with what uh, the visit that they've had, and it's good that way. And if there is an entire situation where you are working with a crew, so like a an elf, another performer, and everybody is in contact with them, and this will go further on to that, because the second question, should the tip be shared with the whole crew or accepted as only for whom the gift is not specified? If there is a crew that is in contact with the people, so it could be a greeter at the door, it could be an elf who is helping with line management, it could be Mrs. Claus who is helping, I would pool everything and split it with the rest of the team, just because everybody who is in contact with that customer has shared in providing that magic, and it should not just go to one person. So
Totally.
definitely share it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely share is a good idea. And what Phineas said also earlier too, you got to watch what if you do have a client that the stipulations that contract is you can accept. Those are those fine lines that
Sure.
I don't remember any of my contract ever saying you can accept a tip. I used to do restaurant work, magic and all that, and there was one place that said you cannot take tips there because they paid a higher salary, and I didn't take tips, so I had to refuse it for those. but that's doing magic. But Santa. But it depends what your client want. I don't remember. Maybe you guys have a client that has had that in a stipulation of not taking them in the contract. But definitely, that's something to concern yourself with.
We've got a corporate client who basically states that. But I mean, if someone slips a bill into my pocket or into there's really not much we can do without creating a scene or embarrassing that person, and I'd rather have them leave like that
Yeah,
with something.
you don't want to embarrass the person either that's giving you the tip because it means a lot to them that they are giving it to you. What Bob said, and that
Sure.
is definitely the truth.
And I think there's two sides to this when you look at it in the setting itself. Now, if you're working as an independent Santa, that's upon you to, you can do whatever you want to do. No stipulations there. But the way that it was written was placement agency, photo company, or corporate setting. So that's a little bit different. And I've never had a contract or seen a contract even, or really even heard where they wouldn't allow you to take tips. But as Phineas has mentioned, some corporate companies may, and as Randy has said before, you're not allowed to take tips. You just graciously say, I'm not allowed to have tips. So, that can't offend. That can't be offending from Santa. That would be more offending towards the establishment for not allowing the crew or Santa or anyone at that point to accept tips. But
In cases like that, we would say that we are here because of this company X has brought us here. If you would like to share your thanks, by all means, share it with them or share it with the management of the restaurant or whatever.
perfect point.
And leave it like that. And very often you'll still end up with something tucked in your pocket or something like that because it is what it is. So
Yeah, they find your bag. Next thing you leave and you create your bag and you look down there and there's some dollar bill down in there.
Yeah, they can slip it on you really quick in your pocket, and of course you're not going to reach up there and pull it out in front of everybody. You just say thank you and go about your way. But I'm going to grab this real quick because this was pertaining to what we were talking about earlier on the Santa Be segment. But he says, play a country song backwards, and your truck runs, your dog lives, and your girlfriend comes back. So thought that was kind of unusual. Okay, let's see here. Let's jump into, I guess, our first comment here would be from Santa Doug. And Randy, again, you're on bottom, so you're going to get covered up a little bit there for a moment.
No problem. Don't worry about it.
Doug says, nothing wrong with tips if they are allowed, but it should not be expected. The best payment that Santa and Mrs. Claus receive is usually the look in a child's eyes when they believe they are really meeting Santa. Everything else is secondary. Perfect.
Yeah, that's just a bonus. The tip is just a bonus. It's not what we work. I used to busk in Vegas on the streets. I work for tips, but that's a totally different thing. Santa doesn't usually work for tips. He works for his salary.
Doug right here in North Texas says, Phineas, if you're going to do that, you need a much, much larger hat. Laugh out loud.
Actually, Doug, as Randy and I both have busked for a living, we are very good at sweeping the hat and leaving just enough seed to ensure that we get more tips.
Give that hint.
Yeah. You don't want to leave too much in the hat, and you don't want to leave nothing in the hat. So,
yep, that's a good way to do it. That's a good way to do it. You want to catch this one, Phineas?
Okay, Santa David, who I work with, says a tip accepted gratefully tells me that the client is pleased with the visit you just have finished. So that is the case.
Very true. That's very true.
And furthermore, David confirms that we do split tips, and yes, we do. If we're working with another performer, we will share the tips that we receive with them. So,
Randy?
It was bitter yesterday. Going to be the 80s by Wednesday. Wow, must be nice, John. Getting smoke from Nebraska fires. Oh, that's not good to hear. From the east of me, that's not good stuff. I didn't know there was fires going on up there. That's sad. Nebraska fires, huh?
Be careful, John. Don't let no embers come your way.
Yeah, be careful. That's but 80 degrees. Whew.
Okay, here's along with Phineas. Grab that.
Don Weinreich says, I don't believe that accepting tips is wrong, especially when you are filling in for a Santa that couldn't meet their obligation, whether through schedule conflict or illness, but to solicit for a tip is unacceptable under any circumstances. And I agree with that, especially if you're already being paid there. If you are accepting payment, you don't go fishing for tips. But
Nope. The most that Santa should ask for is a cookie or two. And I do get lots of them, as I was telling Randy in the green room earlier. Cookie store I've mentioned before is within eyesight of Santa's set at the mall, and they're the first ones there in the morning and are cooking by the time you get there. That's all you smell throughout the mall until the rest of the other restaurants open up and start deep frying and all that kind of stuff. Then you smell different smells, but it's those fresh baked cookies in the morning. It's like I can remember as a child we had a Mrs. Baird's bread bakery factory not too far away, and you get within a half a mile in any direction, especially if the wind was blowing right, and that's all you would smell is fresh baked bread, and it would make you want to run straight across the street to the store and grab you a loaf. It was a great tool. I don't know if they piped that stuff like the casinos in Vegas like to pipe cents and stuff in and things they say. Those are all stories. But what a good marketing tool. If you got a little cookie smell going on, it definitely makes you want a cookie.
Yeah, that's for sure. Now, I'm speaking of cookies. I know it throws off. I don't want to throw off the subject here, but since we do get a lot of cookies, I mean, a lot of children's families will give you a bag of cookies, a box of cookies. I'm just curious. Maybe they can, or guess, and you guys can say, how many do you actually eat those? Take them home, or pass them out to, let's say, the people you're working with or whatever. Do you honestly eat those cookies, or do you share them with other? I've got
Yes,
some.
yes.
If I get them, I'll share them with. Say here, Santa's got so many cookies. Why don't you take these home?
Yeah, I do the same thing. I give them away to that special child. If the parents would, ask them first, of course, never give a child anything without confirming it with the parents or guardian. And then I bring them home. My granddaughter loves to eat them. Angela used to, but she's been on a diet, so she don't
Yeah,
go into the cookies like she did. But and me being diabetic, I have to watch how much sugar intake I have. So I always get at least one bite. One bite.
it's that taste. That's all you need is that taste anyway. It really, really is. But yeah, it's those gifts are good. Uh, if you go above and beyond, that's what you ask for it to do. The tips are perfectly acceptable. You're right,
Yeah.
Don. They're perfectly acceptable if you go above and beyond it. And that's what that client at the time, is it a home visit or a customer or a client, thinks the same thing. You've exceeded their expectations and very happy. Um, so it's you've earned that little extra buffer for saying for being
And
that.
there's even another dimension to this. If you want to look at this, I know. Excuse me. Another thing that me and Randall was talking about in the green room, gifts, especially Santa. Seems like the last few years. I know a couple of years ago there was a commercial on TV where a family goes to see Santa, and then they bring him a pair of house shoes. I received like 5 pairs of house shoes that year.
Wow.
I still haven't worn them all. I got some back here I haven't even unboxed yet. But
Oh,
I don't want to wear them all out or have room to put them all out. So you wear them one at a time, and a pair at a time. But yeah, I mean, gifts are the candy cane, the coin, the pet rock. I've had quite a few pet rocks come to see me and stay with me. There's always that little gift that children like to give you, but uh, the gifts are especially touching to me because they actually took the time to
yeah.
go get the gift, think about what they were going to get you, and house shoes is kind of an easy one,
Right.
and then return with that gift and give it from the heart. I've got right here on my computer. What did I do with it? I just had it. Oh, I know what I did with it. There's a couple that. Well, I said I knew what I did with it. Okay, well, I don't know what I did with it, but there's a couple each year that brings me a Starbucks gift card. The children give it to me while they're visiting with me, and it's a couple of a family's been coming to see me for years. I've got it here. I know I do. What did I do with it? Well, it's missing in action. Buried on my computer. Anyway, just a simple little gift card,
That's
and it's to Starbucks because they know Santa also likes to have a cup of coffee in the afternoon. So
It's yummy.
So John Schnigelberger says that he does not believe tips are unethical. They can motivate you when they happen. I think it's best just to say thank you and move on with a smile, and that is the truth. Bill Stockwell, with respect to cookies, I bring them home. My son says it is a perk of being Santa's child. That is true. And Kevin Bernhardt does not eat at events. He does not need a food in his smile. And again, we do not eat at events. I've actually got a
No,
Ziploc baggie that I carry in my shoulder bag for when we get cookies and candies and everything like that. And it goes in there. And honestly, it depends on if we trust the person handing us the cookie, if it is wrapped, if it is clean. There's a whole bunch of stuff that we do because we got to worry about our health during the season as well. So we don't
absolutely.
know whose pocket those cookies have been in.
Mr. Paul Anderson says, I share my changing room was next to a popcorn kiosk and was always given a small bag.
Boy, that's a snack that never stops. That popcorn, though, that could keep on munching for. And the problem, you're out there being Santa trying to get that kernel out of your tooth. It's yummy.
Don Morris says, on the other hand, I've been asked to work at Santa for a local village that I declined because they asked me to work for tips. Well, I can understand
Yeah,
that.
you
I
don't
don't
work.
know that
Santa
would.
doesn't work for tips.
Yep.
I don't know
Yeah,
that that would
I
work
agree,
very
Dan.
well.
That's
Yeah.
All right, it's Kevin Bernhardt's birthday. I was just putting a little.
Well, happy birthday, sir. It's also
Good.
Debbie Neely's birthday
birthday.
today. We'll give a shout out to Debbie Neely. Her and Randy were up in Ohio for the school up there this weekend that we just got through. And I noticed this morning that Randy said that they had been rescheduled for their flight twice and was still trying to get home from Ohio, that the airports are a mess.
Yeah, not a time to fly for many reasons. Sad. I will not eat at events. I don't want food in my smile. Yeah,
That's correct.
I agree, Kevin. I don't like to eat at events either.
Me neither.
And then you don't have time to brush your teeth or get that fresh breath again. You know.
Especially if it's spicy with onions or garlic or anything like that. That's the last thing you want.
Santa, you got bad breath.
We do have several restaurants that Santa David and I work at where they offer shots to Santa or a drink to Santa. Um, yeah, we just say no, thank you to that.
One you gotta step away from.
Yep, step away from that. And as we have certain other items that are legal in Canada, we have been asked to pose and also given certain other items that we will say no thank you to. So,
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
we are Santa and his elf.
Yeah.
And sobriety is always the best,
Yep.
especially if you had
Yep.
issues in the past, as many folks have had.
Yep.
You get on the bandwagon and stay out. Don't fall off. Let's put it that way. I'm very proud of all those who have
Yep.
struggled with alcoholism and have taken their sobriety serious. And our elf that we had on, the show a couple of weeks ago, Elf Trouble, which you guys know, she had that issue, and I had someone mention to me, well, I can't believe that she was talking about that stuff on your show. And I said, well, I didn't have a problem with it because it shows even people who have problems can correct their problems. And for her, it was her sobriety day. She had been sober for 5 years. And I said, we were more about the celebration of that than the fact that someone might be offended that she had been a heavy drinker at one time in her life. I said, everyone deserves a second chance. Some people deserve a third chance if they can prove themselves, so.
Yeah. Everett says we accept. Oh, there we go. Sorry.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay. No problem.
Let me go back to it. Here we go.
Man, keep hitting the button.
Everett says we accept it, so we can create signs with logos on it for Facebook, QR codes, Google accepted, Venmo, everything. Wow. And Everett, they do everything that'll take it to them instead of taking the cash.
Right, now go to your David one, Angie.
Right
Yeah, folks will often want, when we're doing restaurant visits, to have Santa to stop and have a drink with their table, and we just say that, hey, we are here working, and we need to visit everybody else as well. So,
Yeah.
so
Good point, David.
we're not here to party with you. Sorry, folks. And that's the same thing with.
Here, you go. You do it. You do it.
We're paddling the button here.
Yeah.
Don says, same with me. I do many breakfasts with Santa, have never eaten any of them since the chance of getting something on my suit. Now, one year I did pancakes with Santa, and of course, I removed my coat and leaned over very far and would grab my beard and hold it back. Took a few bites just to make the PTA, Parent Teachers Association, feel good about the fact that they had brought me in ahead of time. It was an event where we were going to do photos with the whole school, class by class. And so we got there bright and early that morning to have, of course, breakfast with Santa. So I did on that occasion take a few bites, but normally I'm the same way. Go ahead, Angie.
Oh, go ahead. I'm typing.
Oh, okay. I don't ever know when you're busy in your chat over there.
John Schnegelberger says cookies are an ad hoc decision. If the child really wants to see Santa eat it, then play it up and have some fun with it. Yeah, you can do that. We also offer to share and split the cookie with the child. If the child brought the cookie, we'll ask mom and dad if they would like to split it with them. So
I did that one year too, Phineas, and without even thinking, I had a pair of white gloves on, of course. They reach, they hand me a chocolate chip cookie. Of course, it come fresh from the cookie store, so the chocolate was, soft. And before I realized what I was doing, I had already reached for it.
mm-hmm.
And I'm thinking, number one, that glove is nasty as can be because I've probably, seen 50 people already this morning. Number two, that pair of gloves are ruined.
Yep.
So I put the cookie to the side and told them I'd try, try it later. I couldn't. I was, had a line, had people waiting, so I was able to get myself out of that predicament. But think first. Let's see here. We got a couple more. Wow, AJ loves baseball. He likes the what's the name of the team? The Bananas.
Savannah Bananas. Yep.
Yeah, he's all into that. Okay, he says I got a Visa gift card from the shop with a hero event after my gig. That's nice, AJ.
Always good. Yep.
He says I was not expecting it. That's when it's always the best. Is when it's a surprise. Bill Coates has a good point here about Cameron. Cameron showed her humanity. Thanks. I thought it was great, Bill. I had no problem with it, but I did have a pushback by one, and that's okay. I mean, we're all individuals.
We're all human people. We've had lives for 40, 50, 60 years. We've done good, bad, and indifferent things throughout the years, and it takes a strong person to also admit that to everybody else. That's a big deal.
Well, and that's what we had her on the show for, because I felt she had such an interesting story coming from northern Russia, being put up for adoption at birth. As far as I know, she never mentioned knowing her birth parents at all. She was just a toddler when her adoptive parents, came to visit her the first time. They fell in love with her instantly, of course, and then they filled out all the paperwork and had to come back home and make that long 20-hour trip back over there a few weeks later to pick her up. And then, she was just a normal teenage American child, and then she got up on, a bad leg, and things happen. And I thought it was a great story from where she had been, where she had came to, where she had fallen into, and then how she climbed herself out of that. So let's see here. Bill Coates has got another one up here. Phineas?
I received a tip, then turned it around and bought photos for a needy family. And
Perfect. That's
Bill.
the best way to do it, Bill. Good move, brother.
Very nice.
Randall?
I never eat or drink anything if I'm dressed, and that's the good thing to do if that's what you want, because get that one little crumb here, one little crumb on the beard. Like Bob said, he gonna get chocolate chip cookie, chocolate on his hand. I mean, And I know your clients want you to. They really do. They think that's the coolest thing. Santa's eating with us, or Santa's having a. But it's it can cause a.
Now, my mind went to the gutter on this one. I'm visualizing Gary sitting at the dinner table with his wife with no clothes on.
Yeah, that's
Sorry, Gary. I just thought it was funny.
sorry. Well, now we got to get out.
Speaking of going to the gutter,
Yeah, there you
AJ
go.
says, when I do my shop with a hero event, I do not eat. I wait until I get out of the suit because I do not want to get it ruined. AJ is very proud of that suit, and you should be. That was a
Yep.
gift also.
I don't drink anything that contains alcohol from Thanksgiving to New Year's, nor do I pose with any alcohol, tobacco, or any adult products. As Santa, I'm trying to set an example. And that's a great, well said. That was the last line. Try to set that example. Santa just doesn't do that. What did we say at North Pole? What would Santa do?
Yeah. Drink a bottle of water.
Yep.
Well
And
put,
sometimes
Bill.
I feel funny drinking a bottle of water when I'm Santa. If they see that plastic bottle, you know.
Now, that's where Spangle has got us all hooked again. He's got those labels that you wrap around the bottle that says
Yeah,
North Pole
yeah,
Brewing
I'll
Company.
drink
And
out of this.
or
Doesn't
you're
bother me,
covered. Either way, he's got you.
but
Here's another one I want to show real quick. This is from Santa B. I love Elf Trouble story and that it led to her being an elf. Everyone is on a journey.
Indeed.
Well said.
it is so true.
All right. I think we run out of comments. That was a great segment. We run a little bit long on that one today. That's okay, though. We learned some things. We found some things out, and that's what this show is all about. Now, we're going to jump into the santascloset.org, and Phineas caught me in the green room and says, "You gave me all the hard stuff today." When you guys see this, you'll understand why. Let's roll that footage.
Glad Phineas and not me.
Okay, so today's sleigh bell brain teaser question is, and this will get you a gift from Wade and Scarlett at santascloset.org, and it's a multiple choice question. Which of these example is not the correct translation for Santa Claus? Italian, Babbo Natale, German, Weihnachtsmann, Welsh, Shotam Konikan, and Finnish, you left that out, but it is Joulupuki.
You
Wow.
left that out, Angela.
And I had already understood how to pronounce Weihnachtsmann because I actually met at Charles Howard last year a young man from Germany who is Welsh. I talked to the minister at Mike's former church, who is Welsh for the proper pronunciation. And as far as the Finnish, which was not actually typed in, and that is Joulupukki, Joulupukki. That I talked to an old coffee drinking buddy of mine. So,
And that's
Joulupuki.
exactly why we picked Phineas to do this segment, because
Thank goodness for Phineas. Thank you.
he is the one that gets the job done. All right. So anyway, you got 4 choices there. Which one is not the correct translation? And of course, off to the side in brackets is the other translation for each one of the terms that are up there. As you can see, Father Christmas, Christmas Man, Chimney Jack, and Yule Goat. So check those out. Come up with the answer there. Phineas, let's go on to the second half of this question.
Question.
Okay, so the second half is the Clause and Effect bonus round, which gets you in the round in the draw for North Pole Cornerstone Scholarship for 2027. Which country is considered to have the longest Christmas season? A, USA, B, Japan, C, Czechoslovakia, D, the Philippines.
Very good. So multiple choice is working out well. Everyone seems to like it. Our producer likes it, and that's what matters because producer's happy, we're happy, right?
That's right.
That is correct. All right, let's let them work on that, and we're going to go ahead and jump off into this next segment.
Oh my goodness.
Are you behind again?
NPC, right?
Mm-hmm.
Together today.
Okay, that's a wrong video that she ran. She's having trouble. She's in the chat and pushed the wrong button, I think.
Yeah, I'm trying to keep up with the trivia question here.
Uh-huh.
Comments.
Trivia is coming in quick and furious and fast.
Okay, here we go.
Try this again. Here we go. Real quick, Randall. In our producer's defense, the EV Mux that we use now, where we used to use StreamYard, is totally different in the back end of things that you guys don't see out there. But every scene that you see, like right now with the three of us up on screen with the logos, each one of those scenes have to be set up. So we got a whole library of scenes to the left-hand side of our screen. And as she goes to click on one, it moves. And so that's why the wrong video came up. But anyway, over to you, Randy.
That's okay. It happens. It's okay. But what it is Elf and Chatterbox News. Of course, as you see, the dates have been set next year for North Pole Cornerstones. Of course, check out northpolecornerstones.com. It's going to be save the dates, February 18th to the 21st of 2027. 4 days, Thursday through Sunday. Be at the same location, the Hilton Garden Inn Conference Center in Oklahoma, North Edmond, Oklahoma. Going to be mix of new refreshments. They're going to refresh everything. The core curriculum, everything is going to, there's even more than there was before.
Yeah.
Be great new presenters, new topics, expanded vendors. Yeah, more vendors. This room was huge to begin with. So, you'll, of course, Saturday night's always a fun night out. We did it actually this year on Friday because Saturday was Valentine's Day would have been too crazy. So,
Yeah.
but of course, Nick and the reindeer, Rose the reindeer, was just the most gentle reindeer I've ever known. We'll be there and so much more. Set for 100 people. Don't forget. Don't miss it. It's an event that is definitely different than a lot of the other events out there and schools out there.
Yeah, Nick has done a wonderful job with Rose. She's a performer. She definitely performs. Those who are there know that she smiles on demand. He can tell her, and she turns and shows that one rack of teeth that she's got and looks right into the camera just like she knows what she's doing. And she's a pretty delightful reindeer. I really enjoy it. And that's my second time with Rose. She was there in 2020 when we were there for the Sat Bob's class. And she will be returning. Her and Nick will be returning each year. That's a deal that we've worked out with him. And so we're excited to have him as part of the permanent fixture for North Pole Cornerstones. Now, you know, we were I guess our expectations for Bricktown were more than what we actually received. We've had pushback there too, saying that it wasn't everything everyone thought it was going to be, and I don't think that we had really explored. We went kind of to a restaurant. We stayed there. We all went outside and talked until it was time to load on the bus. So we didn't really experience it. So not saying that Bricktown's not worth it. I just don't think that that will be something that we will do this next year. We're looking at different ways to entertain on Friday and Saturday, but Saturday night out will be out of the hotel and on an adventure somewhere. And there's a really cool place right next door that we're looking at, but until we get further into that, we won't talk about that. Okay. You know what? I guess it's time next to go to Digging Deeper with Phineas, and that's going to be brought to you by Thermo.
As we're running rather long, Bob, and we want to keep it to North Pole happy hour, why don't we hold up till next week for Digging Deeper with Phineas straight to Randall?
Sure, if that's what you want to do, that's fine. We will say, though, that Digging Deeper is brought to you by Thermo Apparel and Holiday Photo Magic. So thanks to those folks for being able to help us out here on Monday. So with that being said, I guess let's run the Thermo Apparel real quick. Angela?
Ho, 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 ho!
Shop Thermo Apparel. They're wonderful. They're fantastic. And for the coolest of cool Santas or Easter bunnies, remember Thermo Apparel.
Don't just be cool as an attitude. Keep cool, literally.
Thermo Apparel! Be cool! Ho, 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 ho!
Hello, everybody, and thank you, and welcome to Magical Performances. A couple years ago, it's been a couple years now, I brought up this about, remember, our biggest prop is the Santa Mrs. Claus and everything, and Elves is our mind to think about some crazy things. And so I guess that's something that I hope everybody can find a prop the next couple weeks, and I'm going to show you another item in just a moment that my son-in-law made for me that I want to have some fun with in the future. I'm going to ask some ideas from everybody to send in. But this is even a little, again, a clown prop or a magic prop. It's called Wilting Flower. Now, of course, we all know about the magic flowers at the poinsettia. Or is it poinsettia? I'm not really too sure, but a poinsettia. And this, of course, they're magic flowers, and they let children know if they've been good or not. They let if they don't bend, if they bend, the children have been good. If they've been good, so there's a whole routine you can do just by a bending. I've got to move this out of the way. I apologize. This is covering my screen. There we go. It is a easy prop. Just I think it's $10.99 or something like that. It's got a little ring on the bottom. You put your finger there, and it pulls to make it bend. And then you could do a same naughty and nice thing, or say Merry Christmas or something. There's so many props you can do, especially for elves in line that the children have to wait for a while. It's some way to interact. Or Mrs. Claus, they have in her, she always has a flower, and this is her favorite flower. Of course, she gets from Santa. She's very happy when Santa, and there's so many stories you can come up with just a little prop like this. To fill in time and to break up that nervousness that some children have. So just the thought, and then that goes back to the idea about, well, what can I do something different that's not my keys, not my reindeer whistle, not my bells, something else that can be used, that's used for entertaining, um, that can work, that you can build a story around. Because to me, it looked pretty close to a poinsettia or poinsettia, whatever. Those red, beautiful Christmas flowers. Um, Something to use for that. So just think about that. But this is something that I showed Bob this a couple of weeks ago. Um, my son-in-law has a 3D printer, and of course I do the Santa. And he wanted to put the Star Wars X-wing connected to Santa's sleigh. Now I'm thinking, like, boy, talk about a story behind something as crazy as he put together, telling the children that, you know what, because there's so many boys and girls out there now, and I need to go faster than ever. That, you've seen Star Wars before, so fast those X-wings go. But just so this is a prototype, you can tell the children this is a prototype of one of the elves made of Santa's sleigh. So little crazy things like that can build a story, can build entertainment, can build fun. Doesn't have to be big props. My son-in-law and daughter, they just came over a week or so ago and brought it over and said, this is hilarious. I said, oh man, am I going to use that? Because stories are endless. That's what we got to use. Use the mind to think about what we can come up with for stories for this prototype for the new sleigh. Because, Santa doesn't want to make noise on top of the roof, and there's so many children. It can go on and on. But just think about some cool stuff. So I'm gotta make it quick here. We're gonna do a little quick magic trick here. This is again Mrs. Claus, Santa, Elf, maneuver. Of course, we all know what the stockings are, and you borrow children to come up, and they reach down in the bag and they bring out handkerchiefs. You can show, they can look in the stocking. There's nothing in there. Of course, you can do your whole routine. What does the white stand for? Oh, yes, the fur on Santa's coat. Green, could be a Christmas wreath, the Christmas tree. You can build this up to a very long. I got to get a little higher. Either that, I got to move back a little bit. And of course, Santa's suit, the red, and of course, the black for Santa's boot. And then you can do whatever kind of magic you want, whatever kind of interaction you want to do. Then you have the child reach down in, and you said, those are all the Santa colors, because it becomes Santa. It's another thing that I think Elves and Mrs. Claus can do to introduce Santa even. Um, is um, what they call a change bag. It's a beautiful. I think I got the same thing, $12.99 on eBay, or did I get this on Amazon? I'm not even sure. And it has two pockets on the inside, where you can put one on one side, one on the other. So when somebody's reaching in, they only take out the small ones, and when they reach in to grab this, that's all that's left in there also. But it's just so many things you can do to add magic, to add fun, to add interaction, to add that home visit time. On This is probably the biggest cost is this, but you don't need to buy a 36-inch. You buy a 18-inch Santa silk, or you buy one that says Merry Christmas. There's always different things to do, but just to keep that excitement alive, and also to take some time up. I shouldn't say time, but to entertain them a little bit differently. We all do songs, we all do things like that, and post for pictures and give out gifts. A little bit, something a little different is always fun, and not much of a cost for something that can give you a big bang. I think the Wolf Lodges, whatever they did, whatever they're called, Santa would do actually a show every afternoon. And I know Michael and Herbie and a couple other Santas that did them used to do that as part of their stage presentation. So it's something always to do, but take your thought process, find something around the house, have something built. You have a 3D printer, or have some do it, something that you can think about, that you can build a crazy story on, that you can, just get the children involved and like, wow, that's cool. So just another thought process. Think about it. Use this. That's our best gift, because we want to make them happy, make everything believable, make everything fun. If it's fun for us, it's fun for them. So thank you again. Always love you all. Stay magical. See you soon.
And of course, A to Z, the magical A to Z is brought to you by, excuse me, King Risk Partners, where you can get all your insurance needs, home, auto, Santa, business, and Caboose. 4 generations of bootmakers there. I want to thank them for that. What? Witchy, witchy, woochy, woochy?
Woodgy, woodgy.
I never can remember that. Oh, my goodness. Anyway, very good segment there, Randall. Appreciate it. And thank you, Phineas, for stepping aside on this week. We went long on the first segment, which we had a feeling we might. And we did have one other comment that popped up a moment ago from Pat Wesson. He said he had 2 $100 tips and 2 different visits and one $60 tip. And those home visits definitely can work that away. I know I've gotten $100 tips from home visits before also, which is really makes your heart feel good when you get in the car and you open up that envelope that they slip to you at the end and there's more in there than what you asked for or what you had contracted to do. So very good. All right, let's step up into our trivia. Sleigh bell brain teaser, which was not correct translation for Santa Claus. That was C. It's not Setom Comic Con. Instead, it was Scion Corn. Chimney Jack. I know I didn't do that justice, did I?
Shoton, Comic-Con, and Shoton.
That was the wrong answer. So the correct answer was the second part that Phineas said. And then for the clause in effect, bonus round, which country has the longest Christmas season? And that would be the Philippines. Philippines has the longest. So who was our winner for the first segment?
The first one was Bill Stockwell.
Bill Stockwell. And I will send your name over to santasclaused.org for your gift that he will be sending you. I do not believe we have his address, do we? I don't think we do, Bill. If you can send me in a private message your address, your full mailing address, and your T-shirt size, I will get that over to Wade Kaufman this afternoon at Santa's Closet and get you a gift on the way. Second part of the clause in effect winner was?
Santa B.
Santa B gets his name in a hat for a scholarship. How about that? Wouldn't that be something? All right, you already played the Cherry Hill, but let's play it again because this is where we play it. say thank you to Cherry Hill Programs in Santa Central for their contribution to the shows, TNL Network as a whole, and North Pole Cornerstones and School of Santas. They are anywhere that we are, they are. We're helping promote them. They're helping promote us, and it's a great relationship that we have with that company. All right, don't forget to watch all the 2026 family shows. Tune in, kick up your heels, and join in the fun. All powered by TNL Network Productions. This last week, I don't know how many of you caught the shows, but there was some excellent programming on this week, and that will be back again next week. But this week, actually, it's not next week. Today is Monday, so let's look at it that way. Close out our show. Phineas, you got any North Pole nightcap thoughts or takeaways from today's show?
Just as Santa B said, make sure that you have lots of tools in your toolbox for when the going gets tough and things become a little heavy, particularly during the holiday season, because we are open to so many people and their emotions, and as during the holiday times, which is tough enough as it is for most people, we just need to be able to take care of ourselves and make sure that we remain in a good space for when we're visiting with our friends and family and the believers. So thank you.
Very nice message. Thank you, Don. How about you, Randall? You got any final?
Just
nightcap?
like I said, it's definitely a good thing to take care of yourself. That's not easy because so many things go on. But just want to thank everybody that's chimed in, especially for the first part. So it's nice, and it was a great segment because of the question and the interaction with everybody. Thank you so much for that, because without you, it just wouldn't be the show. And of course, without everybody here, it wouldn't be the show either. But thank you, folks, for, we always learn something. Always learn something.
Just want to say happy birthday again to Santa Kevin Bernhardt and to Debbie Neely. Today are their birthdays. If you happen to get a chance, reach out and send them a private message, give them a phone call, or let them know that you care about them. Good people, all part of our Santa community. We love everyone out there. Thank you so much for joining us today, and we will see you tomorrow night. Tomorrow night's going to be a really good show again. Got a guest that I think everyone's going to love. So tune in tomorrow night. Thanks, everyone. Happy Monday.
Bye.
See you soon. Stay magical.